challenges. But inside our country, we have to be more effective and work not according today's agenda, but tomorrow's agenda too. What I would like to say first, it's the main thing that you have to understand. What is happening? It's something that we were not given any other chances to act otherwise. Risks in the security area, we couldn't react any other way. All our tries it was complete zero, and I would say I'm really surprised. We didn't move any further, not even an inch. I want to underline and emphasize that this is not what was basically it was. We had to do it because the risks were really serious for the whole existence of our country. Secondly, we totally understand which world we're living in, and we are ready to what's happening at the moment as to sanctions and restrictions. In the end of the day, I just want to say something. It's very important what I'm going to say. I want to react what the Russian Union of Entrepreneurs said. Russia becomes a part of the world economy, and because of that, we are not gonna hurt the system that we are part of, that Russia is a part of. We don't do any harm to this system of world economy which we are a part of, and we are there, and I think our partners should understand that and do not push us outside of this system. Even of course, some restrictions will happen because of the politics and all the rest of it. And I want to appeal to you and ask you, please understand what's happening and work with solidarity with the government, and we'll maintain our economy.
That's fucking funny, Spooby. You got mail.
Good conditions. We'll provide you more freedom. We'll provide you more freedom for your entrepreneurial activities. Of course, in certain brackets, because we need to have some predictability from the.
I can tell you off today. These motherfuckers must be off talking all that shit. So early in the morning, in the afternoon morning. Fuck time is it? It's 9:47. All right, I'll get the hot dogs. Let me go get it. Go get them. Them or it? I'm trying to add up some hours of live stream because after you have like 200 something hours, you can apply to monetize, which that way my fans can send me like super chats and little $1 gifts or whatever. But in order to qualify, I have to have like more than 200 something hours of record time. And I think I only have like 31 hours. So I got to do this live stream so I can rack up the hours. There he goes. There's a fight. Oh, shit.
You feel like you're playing the lead game with insurance after an accident? Good thing I know how to win.
Yeah, man, I wish I could fucking reply on text, but I guess people can chat, but I can't chat. Wish I could write on the chat. Look at my little double wide window, boy. What you know about that double wide life? Got that little air conditioner. Damn, this cat, he loves air conditioner, man. This is a smart cat, the fat one over there. And the baby right here. Hi, baby doll. That one is from Columbus, Georgia. You know what's up with that Columbus, Georgia. And you know this baby doll right here, she's from LaGrange or somewhere. I love you, baby doll. I was gonna get the cat high and then bring her over here. Well, nah, they look like they're doing fine. Anyways, I'm gonna go get the hot dog. You stay there. I'll be right back. Oh shit, here it goes. Let it go. No, when I let you go, let it go. When I let you go, let it go. Bellissimo. Oh, dun 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 dun. Mamma mia, mamma mia, mamma mia. There you go. Hot dogs on the live. Live requests on the live. Request fulfilled. Hot dogs and hot cats. What you gonna do when they come for you? Oh man. So yeah, I'm over here doing this live stream because YouTube says that I gotta have more than 200 hours of recorded time in order for me to qualify for monetize. I've been looking at all the requirements, and I meet all the other requirements, but the only requirement that I'm missing is the 200 hours. Oh, you son of a bitch! That's my hot dog, dude. I just put that in my mouth at the same time, both of them. And, you don't need to be licking it. It's not because I feel bad for the food. I feel bad for the cat, actually. Trust me, kitty. That's like worse than licking a battery. Don't do it. Son of a bitch, man. All right, he'll do what he do, I guess. Oh, look at that Kiki, just like his daddy. That's a female, actually. Just like her daddy, trying to copy whatever daddy does. I wonder where she learned that, how to suck on the hot dog like that. That's funny. All right, back to the knees. For shizzle, big baby, for shizzle. What is this? Option, start a poll. Okay. Options. Share. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm looking at all these menu. Shit. Mamma mia, mamma mia. Yeah.
Hours after being sworn in, Joe Biden reversed President Trump's successful border policies by Russian invasion of Ukraine. Momentum is building for a war between Ukraine and Russia.
Tensions between Russia and the US are growing rapidly. President Biden considering deploying thousands of troops to Eastern Europe.
There are now 100,000 troops on the eastern border of Ukraine. Russia is setting up field hospitals on this border. Like, this is what preparation for war looks like, a legitimate war.
Ukrainian troops are watching and waiting, saying they are preparing for a fight.
The U.S. has ordered the families of embassy staff to leave Ukraine. Britain has sent all of the non-essential staff home. And now the U.S. is sending tons of weapons and munitions to Ukraine's army.
And we're even considering deploying our own troops to the region. I mean, this thing is heating up.
Yeah.
Russia and the West have been in Geneva and Brussels trying to talk
There's
it
your
out
cats and there's your dogs. Dogs and cats.
Should
What
Russia
you gonna
take
do when they
further
come for
aggressive
you? Dog
actions
cats, dog
against
cats.
Ukraine,
Cat
the
dog, cat dog.
costs will be severe and the consequences
Oh, shit.
serious.
It's a scary, grim momentum that is unpredictable. And the chances of miscalculation and escalation are growing. I'll explain it
There we go.
but I want to show you that this isn't just typical geopolitical behavior. Stuff that can just be explained on the map.
He said, show me how to hack to her. Hack to her on that thing.
Ukraine eastern border, ready for war.
Spit on that thing. Hey, man, I guess I was doing hack to her before hack to her, huh? God damn. Sucking that hot dog, baby. That's some shit.
And what you really have to understand here is how that history is transposed onto the brain of one man. This guy, Vladimir Putin. This is a story about regional domination and struggles between big powers, but really, it's the story about what Vladimir Putin really
The OG hack too. Oh, shit, nigga. I'm hungover as fuck. I went to a karaoke bar yesterday.
I want to say thank you to today's sponsor, which is BetterHelp.
Alright, let's see how we do
BetterHelp
this.
is a platform that allows you to access
Doobie 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 doo. So you grab these hot dogs and you go, oh, make sure Spoopy's driving and you're not driving. And you go, oh, there's a hot dog here. Oh my God, this one wants to get some action. And no, it's this one right here. I don't know which one. This one or this one. Which one do you want? Do you want this one? This one. He's more exciting. He's giving you more money. You got Cash App. Oh no. I got Cash App. I got actual cash. Oh no, I can't take both of them. No, I can't take them. I can't handle both. Oh, you don't get any ideas. I'm not doing that. Shit, I can't believe that actually happened in real life in a work truck in Columbus, Georgia. That is.
And to learn how to talk about what was happening inside of my brain. BetterHelp is not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is licensed, legitimate, professional therapists.
So that's a clip right there.
Which is great because therapy is usually really hard.
Get them hours. Yeah, I gotta get them hours so I can enable the option. Like the little button, I can't. It's like a slide button, you know, active or deactivate the monetization. And it's called studio.youtube.com or whatever. The main menu for YouTube, the back menu. You edit your files and you edit your videos. And it says monetization and it cannot be enabled. So whenever I put the options why, I click, find out why. It's because I'm missing that requirement. There's like 5 or 6 requirements and they all check out except for the hours. So then I'm adding the hours. And I look on YouTube for videos on how to add hours, and this is it, man. You just gotta set the camera and let the fucking hours roll. So, okay.
This was right before this big meeting where North America, Russian invasion of Ukraine. Momentum is building for a war between Ukraine and Russia.
Tensions between Russia and the West are running rapid. President Biden considering deploying thousands of troops to Eastern Europe.
There are now 100,000 troops on the eastern border of Ukraine. Russia is setting up field hospitals on its border. Like, this is what preparation for war looks like, a legitimate war.
Ukrainian troops are watching and waiting, saying they are preparing for a fight.
The U.S. has ordered the families of embassy staff to leave Ukraine. Britain has sent all of the non-essential staff home. And now the U.S. is sending tons of weapons and munitions to Ukraine's army. And we're even considering deploying our own troops to the region. I mean, this thing is heating up. Meanwhile, Russia and the West have been in Geneva and Brussels trying to talk it out and sort of getting nowhere.
The message is very clear. Should Russia take further aggressive actions against Ukraine, the costs will be severe and the consequences serious.
It's a scary, grim momentum that is unpredictable. and the chances of miscalculation and escalation are growing. Other things going on. But I want to show you that this isn't just typical geopolitical behavior. Stuff that can just be explained.
Oh, man.
Instead,
Gotta get them hours in, man. The cats are gonna help me get the hours, baby.
ready for war. You have to understand Russia and how it's been cut down over the ages from Slavic
Oh, man.
dominated this whole region to then the Soviet Union.
Oh, look what I got in California. I bought this in California. Son of a bitch. There we go. So in California, California, I bought this. As you can see, the pre-rolled. It's empty now, you know. I kept the little thing. I kept the container. Oh man, I got so baked with these things, man. Yeah, California, yay. Man, I got so fucking blitzed, man. I was baked. I went, hi, hi, hi. I know she's only rock and roll, but I like it. What's that? Royal Family. And you got the devil, yeah. Wink, wink. You know what I mean? Lucky Lucifer, this motherfucker. But yeah, man, now I got baked. I like the little box. I was gonna throw it away when I after I consumed the product. But yeah, man. Oh, whoops. Those are just stems and sticks. Anyways, it's a nice little box to keep, you know. It's pretty fucking cool. We are gonna get. Oh shit! I didn't read this. I just read this just now. Oh shit! Oh, we're gonna get high as hell. That's pretty badass. I never read that. I swear. I guess it's got tape on it. Something.
Trump needs us now more than ever. Let's stand together.
Oh, Donald Trump, the vibes are calling.
Before we go any further, I want to say thank you to today's sponsor, which is BetterHelp. BetterHelp is a platform that allows you to access therapy.
You guys are sleepy, you air conditioning bastards.
And it has changed my entire world. I really
Oh, Sonny boy.
and not
Oh, Donald Trump, the vibes are calling.
With BetterHelp, you can quickly sign up and you take a little quiz and it connects you via that was about what was happening. Licensed, legitimate, professional therapist. How to quickly give you the yeah, we totally believe you, right? Let's get into the juicy part, which is like why, the roots of all of this. So let's go. A few months ago, Russia started sending more and more troops to this border. It's this massive border between Ukraine and Russia. They said they were doing a military exercise, but the rest of the world was like, yeah, we totally believe you, Russia. This was right before this big meeting where North American and European countries were coming together to talk about a lot of different things like these countries often do in these diplomatic summits. But soon, because of Russia's aggressive behavior coming in and setting up 100,000 troops on the border with Ukraine, the entire summit turned into a whole WTF Russia, what are you doing on the border of Ukraine meeting. Before the meeting, Putin comes out and says, listen, I have some demands for the West. And everyone's like, okay, Russia, what are your demands? You know, we have like COVID-19 right now and like that's like surging. So like, we don't need your like bluster about what your demands are. And Putin's like, no, here's my list of demands. Putin's demands for the summit were this. Number one, that NATO, which is this big military alliance between US, Canada, and Europe, stop expanding, meaning they don't let any new members in. Okay? So Russia's like, no more new members to your like cool military club that I don't like. You can't have any more members. Number two, that NATO withdraw all of their troops from anywhere in Eastern Europe. Basically, Putin is saying, I can veto any military cooperation or troops going between countries that have to do with Eastern Europe, the place that used to be the Soviet Union. Okay? And number three, Putin demands that America vow not to protect It's allied Eastern Europe with nuclear weapons. LOL, said all of the other countries. You're literally nuts, Vladimir Putin. Like, these are the most ridiculous demands ever. But there he is, Putin, with these demands, these very, very aggressive demands. And he sort of is implying that if his demands aren't met, he's going to invade Ukraine. I mean, it doesn't work like this. This is not how international relations work. You don't just show up and say, like,
Vladimir Putin is out of his fucking mind.
Join your alliance because it makes me feel
He's really out of his
But what I
fucking
love
mind.
about this list of demands from Vladimir Putin for this summit
We gotta.
is that it just, like,
The whole Ukraine thing is
on
because
what
we
Vladimir
can't
Putin
let
really
this
wants.
motherfucker advance.
You read them
That's like,
closely and you can
if you look at the history, fast forward the movement of the Nazis, they were doing that. They were just eating up parts of Europe like Pac-Man, wooka 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 wooka, taking over fucking countries, taking over. And Ukraine is like the floodgates. That's why there's a war, and that's why there's this and that over there. Because Ukraine is a big fucking passageway for if Russia takes over Ukraine, it's gonna be like opening up the floodgates. They'll be able to easily take over the other countries, whether they're NATO, whether they're not NATO, whether this, it doesn't matter. They're gonna take them because the other ones they don't have. There's no wall. There is no barrier. There is no shield. Ukraine is the shield for these motherfuckers to be like letting the fucking genie out of the bottle, letting the Russian monster to take over the rest of Europe. Seriously, worse than the fucking Nazis, worse than Saddam Hussein and all that. So that's the whole Ukraine thing, man. And this motherfucker is out of his fucking mind. It's like he's got the whole world as a hostage situation. He got the whole world hostage. Man, I hate to say he's gonna have to be killed and he's gonna have to fucking go. And I don't want to say that about nobody, never in my life. But somebody need to kill Putin, bro. They need to off him where he's not gonna try to retaliate or do some more shit or get a revenge or nothing. They really need to fucking end his life. They need to bomb wherever the fuck he is and fucking disappear his fucking existence to where he's not alive and breathing anymore. That motherfucker is unfixable. I know because I used to be married to a fucking psychopath, my ex-wife, and it's the same way. There's no winning, there's no debate, there's no having a conversation and coming to a point with Putin. That motherfucker is not trying to negotiate. He's gotta go, man. He's gotta go. Some people have to disappear. Like, and don't tell me that you can time travel and the butterfly effect and that's like killing Hitler, or if you didn't kill Hitler or something and you're gonna change something in the future. Fuck that. He's gotta go.
But to grasp those intentions, you have to understand what NATO is and what Russia and Ukraine used to be. Okay, so a while back I made this video about why Russia is so damn big, where I explained how modern day Russia started here in Kiev, which is actually modern day Ukraine. In other words, modern day Russia, as we know it, has its original roots in Ukraine. These places grew up together, and they eventually became a part of the same mega empire called the Soviet Union. They were deeply intertwined, not just in their history and their culture, but also in their economy and their politics. So it's after World War II, it's like the 50s, 60s, 70s, and NATO was formed, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. This was a military alliance between all of these countries that was meant to sort of deter the Soviet Union from expanding and taking over the world. But as we all know,
taking over the world.
Soviet Union, which was Russia and all of these other countries, collapsed in 1991. And all of these Soviet republics, including Ukraine, became independent, meaning they were not now a part of one big block of countries anymore. But just because the borders all split up, it doesn't mean that these cultural ties actually broke. Like, for example, the Soviet leader at the time of the collapse of the Soviet Union, this guy, Gorbachev, he was the son of a Ukrainian mother and a Russian father. Like, he grew up with his mother singing him Ukrainian folk songs. In his mind, Ukraine and Russia were like one thing. So there was major reluctance to accept Ukraine as a separate thing from Russia. In so many ways, they are one. There was another Russian at the time who did not accept this new division. This young intelligence officer, Vladimir Putin, who was starting to rise up in the ranks of post-Soviet Russia. There's this amazing quote from 2005 where Putin is giving this State of the Union address, where Putin declares the collapse of the Soviet Union, quote, the great greatest catastrophe of the 20th century. And as for the Russian people, it became a genuine tragedy. Tens of millions of fellow citizens and countrymen found themselves beyond the fringes of Russian territory. Do you see how he frames this? The Soviet Union were all one people in his mind. And after it collapsed, all of these people who were a part of the motherland were now outside of the fringes or the boundaries of Russian territory. First off, fact check. Greatest catastrophe of the 20th century? Like, do you remember what else happened in the 20th century,
Fucking-
Vladimir?
World War One and World War Two. I
And
mean,
welcome back to another
fucking
video in our 40
the
series.
Nazis. These motherfuckers said that was worse than them.
Putin's worry about the collapse of this one people starts to get way worse when the West, his enemy, starts showing up in his neighborhood to all these ex-Soviet countries that are now independent. The West starts selling their ideology of democracy and capitalism and inviting them to join
Never
their
hack tour and
military
drive.
alliance called NATO. And guess what? These countries are totally buying it. All these ex-Soviet countries are now joining NATO, and some of them the EU. And Putin is hating this. He's like, not only did the Soviet Union divide and all of these people are now outside of the Russian motherland, but now they're being persuaded by the West to join their military alliance. This is terrible news. Over the years, this continues to happen while Putin himself starts to chip away at Russian institutions, making them weaker and weaker. He's silencing his rivals, and he's consolidating power in himself. And in the past few years, he's effectively silenced anyone who can challenge him. Any institution, any court, or any political rival have all been silenced. It's been decades since the Soviet Union fell, but as Putin gains more power, he still sees the region through the lens of the old Cold War, Soviet, Slavic Empire view. He sees this region as one big block that has been torn apart by outside forces, the greatest catastrophe of the 20th century. And the worst situation of all of these, according to Putin, is Ukraine, which was like the gem of the Soviet Union. There's tons of cultural heritage. Again, Russia sort of started in Ukraine. Not to mention, it was a very populous and industrious, resource-rich place. And over the years, Ukraine has been drifting west. It hasn't joined NATO yet, but more and more it's been electing pro-Western presidents. It's been flirting with membership in NATO. It's becoming less and less attached to the Russian heritage that Putin so adores. And more than half of Ukrainians say that they'd be down to join the EU. 64% of them say that it would be cool joining NATO. But Putin can't handle this. He is in total denial. Like an ex-boyfriend who can't handle his ex-girlfriend starting to date someone else, Putin can't let Ukraine go. He won't let go. So for the past decade, he's been trying to keep the West out and bring Ukraine back into the motherland of Russia. This usually takes the form of Putin sending secret soldiers from Russia into Ukraine to help the people in Ukraine who want to separate from Ukraine and join Russia. It also takes the form of, stealing entire parts of Ukraine for Russia.
Russian troops moving swiftly to take control of military bases in Crimea.
Like in 2014, Putin just did this. What America is officially calling a Russian invasion of Ukraine. He went down and just snatched this bit of Ukraine and folded it into Russia. So you're starting to see what's going on here. Putin's life's work is to salvage what he calls the greatest catastrophe of the 20th century, the division and the separation of the Soviet republics from Russia. So let's get to present day. It's 2022. Putin is at it again. And honestly, if you really want to understand the mind of Vladimir Putin and his whole view on this, you have to read this. On the History of Unity of Russians and Ukrainians by Vladimir Putin, a blog post that kind of sounds like a 9th grade history essay. In this essay, Vladimir Putin argues that Russia and Ukraine are one people. He calls them essentially the same historical and spiritual space. Kind of beautiful writing, honestly. Anyway, he argues that the division between the two countries is due to, quote, a deliberate effort by those forces that have always sought to undermine our unity. And that the formula they use, these outside forces, is a classic one: divide and rule. And then he launches into this super in-depth, like 10-page argument as to every single historical beat of Ukraine and Russia's history to make this argument that, like, this is one people and the division is totally because of outside powers, i.e. the West. Okay, but listen, there's this moment at the end of the post that hit me in a big way. He says this: just have a look at Austria and Germany, or the US and Canada, how they live next to each other.
Yeah.
Close in ethnic composition, culture, and in fact sharing one language, they remain sovereign states with their own interests, with their own foreign policy, but this does not prevent them from the closest integration or allied relations. They have very conditional, transparent borders, and when crossing them, citizens feel at home. They create families, study, work, do business. Incidentally, so do millions of those born in Ukraine who now live in Russia. We see them as our own close people. I mean, listen, like, I'm not in support of what Putin is doing, but like that's like a pretty solid like analogy. If China suddenly showed up and started like coaxing Canada into being a part of its alliance, I would be a little bit like, what's going on here? That's what Putin feels. And so I kind of get what he means there. There's a deep heritage and connection between these people. And he's seen that falter and dissolve. And he doesn't like it. He clearly, genuinely feels a brotherhood and this deep heritage connection with the people of Ukraine. Life's better when you're under the American family. Okay, Putin. I get it. Your essay is compelling there at the end. You're clearly very smart and well-read. But this does not justify what you've been up to, okay?
Right.
It doesn't justify sending 100,000 troops to the border or sending cyber soldiers to sabotage the Ukrainian government or annexing territory, fueling a conflict that has killed tens of thousands of people in eastern Ukraine. No. Okay? No matter how much affection you feel for Ukrainian heritage and its connection to Russia, this is not okay. Again, it's like the boyfriend who genuinely loves his girlfriend. They had a great relationship, but they broke up, and she's free to see whomever she wants. But Putin is not ready to let go.
What the hell is wrong with you? I love you, Jessica. What the hell is wrong with you? You don't fucking touch me. I love you.
World Star! Putin has constructed his own reality here, one in which Ukraine is actually being controlled by shadowy Western forces who are holding the people of Ukraine hostage. And if that he invades, it'll be a swift victory because Ukrainians will accept him with open arms, the great liberator. Like, this guy's a total romantic. He's a history buff and a romantic, and he has a hill to die on here, and is liberating the people who've been taken from the Russian motherland. Kind of like the abusive boyfriend who's like, she actually really loves me, but it's her annoying friends who are planting all these ideas in her head. That's why she broke up with me. And it's like, no, dude, she's over you.
What the hell's wrong with you? I love you, Jessica.
I mean, maybe this video should be called Putin is just like your abusive ex-boyfriend.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Okay, so where does this leave us? It's 2022. Putin is showing up to these meetings in Europe to tell them where he stands. He says, NATO, you cannot expand anymore. No new members, and you need to withdraw all your troops from Eastern Europe, my neighborhood. He knows these demands will never be accepted because they're ludicrous, but what he's doing is showing a false effort to say, well, we tried to negotiate with the West, but they didn't want to, hence giving a little bit more justification to a Russian invasion. So, will Russia invade? Is there war coming? Maybe. It's impossible to know because it's all inside of the head of this guy. But if I were to make the best argument that war is not coming tomorrow, I would look at a few things. Number one, war in Ukraine would be incredibly costly for Vladimir Putin. Russia has a far superior army to Ukraine's, but still, Ukraine has a very good army that is supported by the West. and would give Putin a pretty bad bloody nose in any invasion. Controlling territory in Ukraine would be very hard. Ukraine is a giant country. They would fight back, and it would be very hard to actually conquer and take over territory. Another major point here is that if Russia invades Ukraine, this gives NATO new purpose. If you remember, NATO was created because of the Cold War, because the Soviet Union was big and nuclear powered. Once the Soviet Union fell, NATO sort of has been looking for a new purpose over the past couple decades. If Russia invades Ukraine, NATO suddenly has a brand new purpose to unite and to invest in becoming more powerful than ever. Putin knows that, and it would be very bad news for him if that happened. But most importantly, perhaps the easiest clue for me to believe that war isn't coming tomorrow is the Russian propaganda machine is not preparing the Russian people for an invasion. In 2014, when Russia was about
All
to
right,
invade
get the game going.
Crimea,
All right, let's do it.
propaganda that
Let's
prepared
do
the
it.
Russian people that this was a justified attack. So when it happened, it wasn't a surprise, and it felt very normal. That isn't happening right now in
Babe.
Russia.
Oh shit, he's
At
dreaming.
least
He's dreaming.
For now, it
But
may
he's
start
fucking
happening
kicking.
tomorrow. But for now, I
Babe,
think Putin is
come
showing
on,
up
I've
to the
been
border,
behaving,
flexing
babe.
his
Can I get
muscles,
some?
and
You know
showing
what?
us that he is ruthless.
Babe,
I'm not sure that
mama,
he's going to
mama,
invade tomorrow,
mama,
but he very well could. I mean, read the guy's blog post. And
Oh,
you'll
you didn't
realize
want
that
to want
he
to talk
is
about
a
it?
romantic
Oh,
about
now
this.
it's a
He is
fucking
incredibly
it's a
idealistic
party, it's a
about the
party,
glory
it's a
days
party,
of the Slavic
it's a
empires,
party, it's a
and
party, it's a
he
party.
wants to
Oh
get it
shit!
back. So there is dangerous momentum towards war, and the way war works is even a small little
Oh shit!
fight can turn into the other guy doing something bigger and crazier, and then the other person has to respond with something a little bit bigger. That's called escalation. And there's not really a ceiling to how much that momentum.
I'm not eating
is
the hot
under
dog anymore, I
control.
guess.
That is why it's so scary when two nuclear countries go to war with each other, because there's kind of no ceiling.
It's
So
so
yeah,
quick.
it's dangerous. This is scary.
In the ear.
I'm not sure what happens next year, but the best we can do is keep an eye on this. At least for now, we better understand what Putin really wants out of all of this. Thanks for watching. I appreciate everyone for being here. I'm excited for another year of a lot of bigger, more ambitious videos on this channel. I've been diving really deep. I've been printing a lot of things out and reading them in hard copy.
Look, he already cut the fucking hot dog.
For these videos, which is really helpful
Ain't
for
that
me
funny?
and hopefully helpful for you. If you want to support this work, I have a Patreon which you can go check out.
Ain't that
Link in the
funny? Ain't
description.
that funny?
And then I also,
Oh shit! Oh! Damn, I'm glad that's not my
video
backer.
photos. What I
Oh,
use to
shit.
color this screen right now is being colored by left.
Ah, damn.
Color
Can't
profile
take the weight.
that you can put on your video to make it look pretty. This is what it looks like without the light. Hi. And this is what it looks like with the
How about that for getting the
It's a lot
game
better,
going?
And I have quite a few of them that we've been working on for probably over a year and a half with the professional colors. It's now out and for sale. I also have them for photos as well. Thank you all for being here. And Putin is showing up to these meetings in Europe to tell them where he stands. He says, NATO, you cannot expand anymore. No new members, and you need to withdraw all your troops from Eastern Europe, my neighborhood. He knows these demands will never be accepted because they're ludicrous. But what he's doing
ludicrous
is
demands.
showing a false effort to say,
Luda!
well, we tried to negotiate with the West, but they didn't want to. Hence, giving a little bit more justification to a Russian invasion. So, will Russia invade? Is there war coming? Maybe. It's impossible to know because it's all inside of the head of this guy.
So you gotta get the game going.
That war is not coming tomorrow. I would look at a few things. Number one, war in Ukraine would be incredibly costly for Vladimir Putin. Russia has a far superior army to Ukraine's, but still, Ukraine has a very good army that is supported by the West and would give Putin a pretty bad bloody nose in any invasion. Controlling
No,
territory in Ukraine
never
is
hack
very
Tula
hard.
and drive.
It's a giant country.
You know, I had this thing called Roadhead. I got Roadhead back in what year was it? 2011 or 2010, something like that.
Because of the Cold War, because the Soviet Union.
I think it was 2011. Oh,
Once
wow,
the
look at
Soviet
that
Union
baby.
fell, NATO sort of
I had this girlfriend or whatever was going on back then,
If Russia invades Ukraine, NATO suddenly has a brand new.
and she was rich. Thank you for the cat action.
Putin knows that.
She was rich, and then
But most importantly, perhaps the easiest clue
she had a convertible
for
car.
me to believe that
It was like a
war
2-door
is
car,
coming tomorrow
convertible, everything
is the
fancy.
Russian propaganda
I was
machine
driving, and I was like, "Have you ever
Russian people
giving somebody head while you drive, while he's driving?"
Russia
And
was
so I
about
was
to
driving, and
invade
she was
take over
sucking it up.
Crimea, this part of Ukraine. There
And
was a barrage
I didn't
of
finish. It wasn't
state
anything,
propaganda
but
that
it was
prepared
cool that it happened.
Putin
You know?
is showing up to these meetings
It was
in
my
Europe
first time
to
getting hit
help
while driving.
American
That was
fans.
cool.
He says, NATO, you cannot expand anymore. They didn't want to, hence giving a little bit more justification to a Russian invasion. So, will Russia invade? Is there war coming? Maybe. It's impossible to know because it's all inside of the head of this guy. But if I were to make the best argument that war is not coming tomorrow, I would look at a few things. Number one, war in Ukraine would be incredibly costly for Vladimir Putin. Russia has a far superior army to Ukraine's, but still, Ukraine has a very good army that is supported by the West and would give Putin a pretty bad bloody nose in any invasion. Controlling territory in Ukraine would be very hard. Ukraine is a giant country. They would fight back. It would be very hard to actually conquer and take over territory. Another major point here is that if Russia invades Ukraine, this gives NATO new purpose. If you remember, NATO was created because of the Cold War, because the Soviet Union was big and nuclear powered. Once the Soviet Union fell, NATO sort of has been looking for a new purpose over the past couple decades. If Russia invades Ukraine, NATO suddenly has a brand new purpose to unite and to invest in becoming more powerful than ever. Putin knows that, and it would be very bad news for him if that happened. But most importantly, perhaps the easiest clue for me to believe that war isn't coming tomorrow is the Russian propaganda machine is not preparing the Russian people for an invasion. In 2014, when Russia was about to invade and take over Crimea, this part of Ukraine, there was a barrage of state propaganda that prepared the Russian people that this was a justified attack. So when it happened, it wasn't a surprise and it felt very normal. That isn't happening right now in Russia, at least for now. It may start happening tomorrow, but for now, I think Putin is showing up to the border, flexing his muscles, and showing the West that he is earnest. I'm not sure that he's going to invade tomorrow, but he very well could. I mean, read the guy's blog post, and you'll realize that he is a romantic about this. He is incredibly idealistic about the glory days of the Slavic empires, and he wants to get it back. So there is dangerous momentum towards war. And the way war works is even a small little fight can turn into the other guy doing something bigger and crazier, and then the other person has to respond with something a little bit bigger. That's called escalation. And there's not really a ceiling to how much that momentum can spin out of control. That is why it's so scary when two nuclear countries go to war with each other, because there's kind of no ceiling. So yeah, it's dangerous. This is scary. I'm not sure what happens next here, but the best we can do is keep an eye on this. At least for now, we better understand what Putin really wants out of all of this. Thanks for watching. I appreciate everyone for being here. I'm excited for another year of a lot of bigger, more ambitious videos on this channel. I've been diving There you go.
we go. Here we go.
It's a party, it's a party, it's a party. It's a party, it's a party. Thank you for the little face emojis and all that. Appreciate it. Oh damn, 100, 100. I'm gonna become one of those. What do you call it? Uh, yeah, NPC, non-playable character. Whenever you fucking do all them emojis and all that, I'm gonna be like, oh, thank you, 100, 100, and do like a different thing. There's some people who make money like that, being dedicated fucking a dedicated NPC. That's funny as fuck. Non-playable character. It's a party, it's a party, it's a party. It's a party, it's a party. It's a party, it's a party. It's a party. Hello, easy booty dooby doo. to one place to go. I'm coming home. Oh yeah, I'm coming home. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I should play that song.
So when it happened, really, the other guy